What up, Franken fam? It's me, the Road D-O-double-G. I hope that was hilarious for the two people who are going to watch this that are as big of Attitude Era wrestling fans as I am. No, I'm not Road Dogg Jesse James. I am Franken Legs. And hey, I got more antique clubs to look at. Now, I've technically already opened this box, so it's not really an unboxing. But you know what? Sometimes you got to do that just to see what's actually coming, because sometimes you don't know what the F shows up. This box did not look like it would contain clubs. And it is like very solid and sturdy, so I had no idea what it was. It felt like an encyclopedia to me. But no, this eBay seller just did a phenomenal job at their packing. And I was especially confused because I didn't realize that I had ordered 3 pairs of clubs from the same seller. But here we are anyways. So, 3 pairs of clubs to look at. So the first set is this nice 1 pound Wright and Ditson maple. So nice standard pin club, relatively short. I would have to guess probably only 14 or 15 inches off the top of my head. I don't have measuring tape down here, unfortunately. Do I have anything that I know? No. Okay. So I have no idea how to figure out exactly how long they are right now, but hey, maybe I'll post an update. But these are very nice looking clubs, very well made. They're listed as antique. I'm going to have to assume that they are. I've never heard of Wright and Ditson, but I'm going to do a little bit of research to see. The club itself has, of course, a couple of nicks and bruises, but it doesn't show the standard wear and tear that I normally would find in an antique club, so I'm going to have to assume that either it was not used very often or it's more vintage than antique, you know what I mean? Like maybe 60s or 70s as opposed to like pre-World War I, you know? But definitely a beautiful club to add to the collection. Of course, it comes with a significant other, which definitely has seen some love. Oh, you know what? This is an entirely different club, actually. This is a Spalding Model BS 1 pound. So, I have a pair of 1.5 pound Spalding Model BS's, pardon me, that I absolutely love, which is why I got this one. And it is definitely beaten up. It's an antique. I know the era of these ones. They're old, and I love them. Again, relatively small. I'm intrigued now to see if maybe if those were sold as the match or what. Because this is the Narragansett Machine Co. Standard Co. I don't even know. Here, look at that. You can look at that maker's mark. I don't know if it'll zoom in or if it'll focus enough, but there's the maker's mark on that one. Absolutely beautiful club. Nice and short, teardrop-like shape, but not quite the teardrop. Especially just with the length, you're not going to get the same kind of turn as you would with the standard teardrop. This pair, I know I bought very, very, very specifically. This was actually the kind of club that I was looking for when I was on eBay that day. It was a pair of 1 pound of the, I'm going to try and pronounce it again, Narragansett Machine Co. Standard. Beautiful club. Beautiful club. Providence, Rhode Island, USA, 1 pound. Now, there are, of course, 2 other clubs here. Let's see if one's a BS and one is the Ditson. So here's another Model BS. Fantastic. So these two would be the matching pair. So these two are old. These two would definitely be old. The Model BS, the Spalding Model BS. We know that they were pre-World War II, but the era that they were running seems to have spanned a relatively long time. So these are pre-World War II, but how pre, I'm uncertain. There are nicks, these clubs have been loved, these clubs have been used, these clubs are a little bit worn, but of course that's not really going to tell us a lot. The maker mark on them still looks absolutely beautiful though, so I'm going to have to assume it's one of the newer models, as in like 80 years old as opposed to 100 years old. But there is, of course, another club in here, and this would be the other of that Wright and Ditson 1 pound maple. So yeah, that's definitely the pair. Nice looking clubs. Whoops. Nice looking clubs here. Good 1 pound club. Standard pin. I'm excited to swing. I'm excited to play around with them. I have another pair of the one I can't pronounce, Narragansett Machine Co. I like that style. I wanted another pair for myself. Actually, I already have a pair, but I wanted another pair for myself because there's a crack in it. And then I recently picked up a pair for a student as well that's on the way, and she'll get that set. So overall, 3 new pairs of clubs. Again, we have the Narragansett Machine Co. from Providence, Rhode Island. 1 pair. They're kind of those short teardrops. Love this style. Then, of course, we have the Wright and Ditson Maple. I love the way these feel. That maple feels so nice. Like, it's such a sturdy wood. And again, a relatively short club. Standard design, the standard pin design. And then, of course, the Spalding Model BS 1 pound club. Again, in that standard kind of pin design. Now, the really interesting thing about these clubs is that due to the length of them, they're very short. They're very, very short. So it is totally reasonable to assume that the original owner of these clubs was either a child or a female. Generally, men of the era would use a little bit of a heavier club, maybe a little bit of a longer club. Women would normally use around that 1 pound mark and maybe a little bit of a shorter club, but more often than not a full length. So the fact that these are 1 pound and short would lead me to assume that the original owner was likely a kid, or they're made in the era where people started to get even showier than they had before and needed this lighter and smaller club to be able to do some of the movements. So cool thing about Indian clubs is there's so much history to them. Not so cool thing about Indian clubs is you'll never know exactly what the history was because it's so lost to time. But I'm very, very, very glad to have these 3 new pieces in my collection. Can't wait to try them out, to swing them around, to see what kind of energy they bring to my practice and what kind of energy I can leave on them for, hey, whoever gets them in the next 100 years. So one of the beautiful things about wooden fitness equipment is that that shit lasts a long time. I have been lucky enough to swing clubs that are well over 100 years old, and they seem like they're brand new. So I'm going to put all sorts of good energy into all the wood clubs that I have, and I hope that in 100 years, some weird tattooed, bearded dude in the middle of nowhere buys them on eBay and falls in love with them the same way that I did, and he or she can feel the energy that I have and put into them. So super grateful to keep the Indian club practice alive. Super grateful to keep my collection growing. Super, super grateful to keep the energy flowing. That's what I have for you guys this time. Watch for videos of me swinging these clubs. Like I said, I have more clubs on the way and a couple other things as well, so I'll do a couple more of these videos. I have no idea if you like them. I like doing them because I get to talk about clubs a little bit. So I'm going to keep doing them. But that's what I got for you this time, Frank and fam. Watch for those videos of me trying these clubs out. I'll see you again in person and online. Much love, Frank and fam.